Hi, my name is Dr. Corinne Wickens, and I'm a professor in the Department of Curriculum Instruction at Northern Illinois University. This video, Academic Writing and Discourse, is the second in several videos meant to serve as reference tools for doctoral students in the areas of social science and educational research. In this video, I'm going to talk about academic writing through the analogy of learning a new language. For that is indeed what one must do in a doctoral program. One must learn and understand the language and discourses of one's discipline. Sometimes those elements are made apparent for students, but often they are not. First, I need to explain the meaning of discourse here. Generally speaking, discourse refers to the use of language to communicate in speech and writing. In addition to what one communicates, discourse indicates how one communicates. The how is predicated upon factors as specific expectations and conventions of a discipline. For instance, in educational writing, which is my area, scholars generally follow a fairly common format in which one introduces the research topic and its related context, background. It situates the study in previous literature and relevant theory, describes the methods that were used and for rigor, analysis, reporting the findings, and finally explaining the significance of the findings, corresponding implications, and conclusions. Purpose and audience also matter greatly. Writing an article is very different than writing a dissertation. Crafting an empirical manuscript is very different than writing for practitioners. All of those elements constitute discourse of academic writing. As indicated in the previous slide, there are different kinds of discourse. Compare this to different styles of talking and communicating in your different contexts. As a parent, a peer, a professional, you take up different linguistic styles and resources to meet the needs of the context. This is the kind of code switching, or more recently described as translanguaging, which refers to ways in which individuals intermix and switch languages or dialects. So in this case, we're particularly highlighting the different kinds of discourse between general and academic. So the general, constrained by genre, logical development of written communication, but in particularly in academic, it is specific to the discipline and it shifts by type of journal style and frame of reference. It is also important to understand that all academic writing is argumentative writing. The tools and resources used for argumentative writing differ by discipline and purpose. Regardless, one must assert the relevance, the salience of a given study. One must validate the methods and the findings in order to bolster any claims. And we use research literature and data as the bases of our writing. Readers cannot be convinced of one's findings if the methods, the theory, and the research questions themselves are uncompelling. Researchers, and that includes you, use these tools to craft an overarching argument. While grounded in research literature, one's argument, however, must go beyond it. Otherwise, why should or would anyone want to read it? Also, one's argument is not a summary of what's already been written on the subject. You're not writing a book report. Scholarly academic writing uses the research literature to situate an argument, empirical data and findings, or theoretical considerations to support and defend your argument. Academic writing, as I said, is argumentative writing. It is grounded in an idea. And that idea, if worth writing about, needs to shine. So, effectively crafting one's argument through the use of theory, research literature, data, and findings is how we as educational scholars do just that.